Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello and welcome to Program Insight in V News English. Dear viewers, Iranian crisis is continuing and Iran is now a global story. So, one side, Iranian government claims that the protest has come down. However, the tension between Iran and the United States is continuing. Threatening statements and provocative statements are emanating from United States, particularly the U.S. leadership. U.S. President Mr. Donald Trump, in his latest statement, asked the Iranian protesters to continue the protest, and a possible U.S. help is on way. What type of this help the U.S. president is offering to the Iranian protesters? And since the internet blocked by Iranian government, the various U.S. companies, particularly the Starlink, has offered satellite internet facility to Iranian protesters. And on the other hand, there are reports that there could be possible U.S. military attack on Iran, as preparations are underway at one of the biggest American military base in Doha. So if Iran is attacked, what could be the situation? What will be its implication and consequences for the region? And what could be the possible effect on Pakistan? And finally, what role Pakistan could play to avert this disaster? We are fortunate to have with us a very senior former seasoned diplomat, Ambassador Asif Durrani. Mr. Durrani has served in a number of countries, but as an ambassador, he has served in United Arab Emirates and Islamic Republic of Iran. So he has very deep understanding of issues of the region, from Afghanistan to Iran, Middle East, and everything. Many thanks, Ambassador Asif Durrani Saab, for joining our program. So I would like to begin. It's a pleasure to have you with us. I would like to seek your opinion. What is your assessment of the current situation, ongoing situation in Iran?
Well, thank you, Mateen. Well, the situation is grave, and both domestically as well as externally. Domestically, I say because the currency plunge had caused spontaneous demonstrations in the country. This time, in fact, even the trading class, they also joined the demonstrations. And that, in fact, compelled President Pezeshkian to say that, yes, their demand is genuine and they want to vent out their growls, so they are coming out on the streets. But here, American element is, you can say, is more serious, because it is a kind of an instigation which the United States have tried to do inside Iran, and then prompting the people to come out on the streets. And then, as you quoted, President Trump's latest tweet, his X message, telling the people to continue their protests, and the American aid is on the way. But the question is, what kind of aid America can do that? Their prime objective had always been regime change, which they tried from day one, but they haven't succeeded. However, they have put a very strict squeeze on Iran through sanctions, which has had a negative impact on the Iranian economy, no doubt about it. And doing business with Iran has become difficult because of the American sanctions. That is also a fact. But at the same time, Iran is not alone. China and Russia have been standing by Iran, especially with regard to the military hardware, and Iran could replenish its military hardware. Earlier, they had the American weapons and armament systems, but now it has been replaced by the Chinese and the Russians. So here, militarily, Iran, I think, is not that weak, which Americans perhaps thought they so, or the Israelis, they thought so, and then they tried to launch the adventure against Iran with the 12-day war last year. But now the fact is that situation has become grave with United States warning, President Trump's warning, and that is also taking place in the backdrop of Venezuelan attack, which American troops did at the behest of President Trump, and they arrested President Maduro and took him to New York. So that was quite humiliating, and and soon after this, Iran demonstrations have come, and it has in fact added to the debate that now United States may perhaps launch another attack against Iran. So I think these are the worrisome developments. We have to be watchful. Yes.
So what do you think that Iranian government is in a position to overcome these protests by giving some more economic relief? What could be a possible strategy to overcome these protests?
Well, I think, yes, the Iranian government has announced subsidies, but that is being described as too little. But at the same time, it is also correct that while anti-government demonstrations were taking place in many cities and towns, it's also a fact that there are pro-government demonstrations which were witnessed in all major cities and towns. So here the opinion is divided. If there are anti-government demonstrations, and that especially because of the economic conditions, with due justification, yes, that is a fact. But this time, the serious aspect which we should not ignore is that for the first time, mosques were burnt.
Which is very unfortunate.
This is very serious, and this shows that there are elements in Iran who are ready to sabotage everything, and they want to malign the regime at any cost. And this is something very serious. And then it also shows that those elements who are anti-regime or anti-system, they have also crept into the system, and they are very much active. And when opportunity arises, they can activate themselves. So this is what we have witnessed during the past 2 weeks. So it is it's a serious situation, and one has to be watchful. Yes.
Then, what do you think that within the clergies, who could be possibly most substitute or the person who could replace Ayatollah Khamenei? And if it is replaced, then do you think the situation will come under control?
Well, it's a very difficult question. It's a very important question, but very difficult to predict that who will replace the Rahbar. One. Secondly, there's already the Iranian system has put up a modus vivendi whereby they can replace the Rahbar and Majlis-e-Khabargan, or Assembly of the Experts. It's the 87-member assembly which can nominate the Rahbar and vote for him. So the system is very much in place. But that will only act in case of the demise of the Wilayat-e-Faqih or the Supreme Leader, or if he becomes incapacitated. So in either of the cases. But in this case, right now, replacing Rahbar would be, I think, would give a wrong signal, whereby it would also show within the system that the clergy has come under pressure, and under pressure they have replaced the Rahbar. I don't think this is going to happen like this. However, in politics, anything is possible. But main thing is that whether if there is external intervention in the Iranian this unrest, then in that case, the present government is unlikely to make any move, whether it's a political move by changing the Rahbar or changing the system, or for that matter, going for another elections. There could be many other options, but not at the behest of the Americans, because in that case, it would show it would be more harm to the existing system. Yes.
Do you think that former King Pahlavi's son, could be a possible replacement? And if he comes into power, if he's installed by force by United States of America, what could be implication for the region, particularly for Pakistan, because they would be a pro-Israeli government?
I think we need to understand the system in place in Iran right now. And that is the rule of the clergy. But at the same time, they have evolved a system whereby they can replace the personalities. It is the system which rules, like Majlis Khabargan, which appoints the Rahbar, then they have the parliament, which represents the will of the people, so people can be elected. And then they have a cabinet, and the cabinet seeks confidence from the Majlis. So they have a system. And then if there is a problem between, say, government and the Majlis, then they have the guidance council, Shura and Liban. They are very much there. So
the system is very strong in place.
Yes, it's a well-placed system. And it has been developed over a period of 47 years. But here, when we talk about former King Shah's son, he's one person, and we have not seen any shadow government formed by the Shah's son, the prince. So, therefore, one person versus the entire system, I think we can make an easy judgment about that. And I don't think it is going to be a bed of roses in case the prince comes back to Tehran. He has been away for the past 47 years. And he has been sitting idle, he has been sitting dormant. Yes, it is whenever there is some problem or some demonstrations or some protests, so one can see his face and his statements, and then there is a big period of lull. This is what at least I have witnessed. I stand corrected. And then we don't also see, even at the intellectual level, the Iranian analysts talking about the role of former king's son. So at the moment, and so therefore, giving any credit to Shah's son would be premature. And even if he comes, then whether would he be able to run the system? That would be a big question mark.
What possibly could be the target of American military strikes this time? Will it be the presidential palace or the place where Iranian supreme leader resides and has command and seat over there?
The United States came at the last day, and the United States targeted 3 of Iran's nuclear facilities at Isfahan, Fordo, and Natanz. And mind you, these attacks were against the IAEA safeguards. The United States was in clear violation of the IAEA rules because these were under the IAEA safeguards, and these facilities were not involved in making any research or any development of nuclear weapons or something. So therefore, we have to be clear about that. Secondly, if Iran has to go nuclear and it has to weaponize its nuclear program, so it won't be doing that so openly and on about the in the known places. That is a common sense. But now, after these demonstrations, the United States is likely to target military installations. That is the most likelihood. They may perhaps, yes, target government ministers or those facilities. That is a possibility. They may target the Iranian Majlis, Iranian Parliament. That's a possibility. But that would not solve the problem. Reason is, if you recall, during the initial days of Iranian Revolution, the entire cabinet was, was killed in a bomb blast, and so what happened? They replaced it, and they held elections.
Strong system, exactly.
During the thick of the war with Iraq. So there were, in fact, that these crises further strengthened the revolutionary setup in Iran, which continued. And with these crises, in fact, it provided the opportunities to the Iranian leadership, to the clergy, to rally around their flag. And this was also witnessed during Israel's attack in June last year, when they attacked Iran. So even those people who were anti-mullahs or who were anti-clergy, they were also rallying behind Iran's flag. So don't forget about the nationalistic streak within the Iranian people. And they may perhaps be opposed to the clergy, but when it comes to Iran or its interests, then I don't think that they are going to harm Iran's interests.
So what do you think, what are the options available with Pakistan? Pakistan behind the scene must be engaged in a diplomacy to avert this crisis?
I think the bets would be off. It could be anybody's guess. If the United States depends that what is the ferocity of the American attack, and then how Iran is going to respond. I think those wargaming Iranians must have done already, and Americans would also know that which points are vulnerable. When it comes to Pakistan, I think during June war between Israel and Iran, Pakistan's stance was quite mature.
Very clear.
That it clearly condemned that attack from Israel. It's besides the point that if a country has problems within its own borders, that is the internal matter. But if there are external forces who want to destabilize the thing, then Pakistan certainly would not support such a situation.
Aggressions, so, foreign aggression, exactly.
So my personal opinion would be that with regard to Iranian developments within the country, that is not our concern. That is the internal matter of Iran. But if Iran is attacked by the United States, or for that matter Israel, then we should express our solidarity with Iran, definitely, like we did in June last year.
So another very important development is economic and trade aspects. So in order to put pressure on the countries which are doing trade with Iran, United States has announced 25% tariffs on that, so that the countries may decrease their trade with Iran. To what extent this could be possibly affect on the countries which are engaged in importing oil from Iran and importing number of other things? And to some limited scale, Pakistan is also engaged in trade with Iran.
Yes, this is an added problem for the countries dealing with Iran. We have to see it. Our trade is not that big with Iran, but and don't forget that more than our trade, we have informal trade continuing between the two countries, and that is likely to continue. But elsewhere, Iran will have the problem, no doubt about it, and it would put a further squeeze. But having said that, Iran is not alone, because China is the largest trading partner of Iran. 90% of Iran's trade is with China. So I think China is likely to continue its trade, and it has not complied with the American dictate, and it's not likely to comply with America's new sanctions against Iran. Yes.
Since, Excellency, you have served in United Arab Emirates as well, But when Qatar came under attack, number of countries, approximately all Middle Eastern countries and non-Arab Muslim countries, condemned that attack by Israel on Qatar. So, what do you think? How is Iran diplomacy with the Muslim world, within the Muslim world? Do you think Iran has the sympathizers within the Muslim bloc, within OIC?
I think you may have seen that major Arab countries, most including the Gulf states, have opposed any likely attack by the Americans against Iran. And Saudi Arabia has even assured Iran that it would not allow its territory to be used against Iran. And these are the, assurances which were missing, say, some 5-6 years ago, when Iran and many Arab countries were at daggers drawn. So this is not the situation. And then Chinese mediation between Saudi Arabia and Iran actually has played a very positive role, and this has brought down the rhetoric which the two countries were using against each other. So I think this is also should be a source of awakening for all the regional countries, that they have to come closer, because the United States has started behaving like a rogue state. And it's a unilateral agenda which is now going too far, and it is infringing upon the sovereignty or even independence of the countries. So I think the countries will have to realize that.
So, and that is that United States is behaving like a rogue state, and the sovereignty of number of countries is in danger. So, in 2026, how you see the security landscape of the entire Middle East? Of course, protests in Iran are continuing over last many years. Sometimes the protest comes down, then all of a sudden erupts again. Afghanistan is there, Iran is there, then Somaliland issue is there, then Sudan is burning, Libya is burning, there is crisis in Yemen. So how you see peace and security in 2026 in the entire Middle East at a time when the Muslim bloc is burning?
If Iran is a test case, then in that case, all countries in Iran surrounding Middle East, including Pakistan, will have to sit together to chalk out a way
strategy
in order to secure their socio-economic interests. And this is very important, because the coming days, if the American intransigence continues, then it would be harmful for all the countries of the region. So therefore, we can't be complacent. We have to be watchful, and we have to evolve a strategy whereby we come as a bloc, we come as a one voice, and we should display unity. Yes.
Thank you so much indeed, Ambassador Asif Durrani Sahab, Pakistan's former ambassador to Iran, for sharing your strategic thoughts, insightful discussion on Iranian story, on the crisis in Iran, and what possibly could be action by United States of America, and what sort of response should be from the Muslim bloc. And takeaway from your conversation is that the Muslim bloc should sit together in case of attack on Iran and should devise a joint strategy, a common strategy that can protect this particular region from any future possible aggression. Thank you so much indeed. Despite your busy schedule, you spared time and participated in our program. And dear viewers, till our next program, goodbye and Khuda Hafiz.